Hey everyone, my name is Zach Lawless. I am the CEO of Hyer Boots, and today I'm going to run you through how to 1, pick your size, especially if you're shopping online, 2, how to fit your boots once they come in and you can get your hands on them, and 3, how to make any adjustments to that boot if you want it to fit just right. I'll throw in some fun tips about boot making and different things that we have about fitting boots, but if you do want to cut just to the chase, there are timestamps at the bottom. Feel free to jump to wherever you want to. The most common questions we get when asking about selecting a boot size is, do your boots run true to size, and are they similar in size to XYZ brand? The short answer is yes, they do run true to size, and we recommend you buying the same size boot that you would in other brands, or getting the same size that you would in your typical shoe size. The long form answer to that is that it's a little bit more nuanced. Our boots are true to the Brannock sizing method. However, each boot maker or each brand has slightly different measurements when they're building their boots that make the boots have slightly different fits. If this is your first time buying cowboy boots, there's a few things you need to understand when adjusting from your typical size shoe into a cowboy boot size. For starters, cowboy boots don't have shoelaces like your typical shoes, so the fit needs to be much more precise. That's why you'll see most cowboy boot brands have different size widths. For instance, we have D and double E in men's, and we have B and C for women's. If you have a high or low instep or a narrow or wide foot, you might need to adjust your sizing a little. And while these might be characteristics of your feet that you don't know, there are 2 good questions you can ask to understand them. The first one is, when you look down at your shoe or when you go and feel your typical shoe, can you see your feet protruding over the sides of the shoe? If you can, you might have a wider foot than normal, and you might want to try a wider width. In our men's, that would be a double E, or in women's, that would be our C's. Question number 2 you should ask yourself is, when you're wearing regular tennis shoes, are the laces really tight and narrow, or are they wider and spread out? If they're narrow, you might have a lower instep and you might want to try going down a half size. If they're wider, you might want to try going up a half size. You might have a higher instep. Lastly, the type of leather can affect the recommended sizing as well too. So cowhides and other smooth leathers can stretch up to a half a size. While we do use all A-grade leathers that will hold their shape as much as possible, if you do have a boot that is a little bit snug out of the box, you can expect that to stretch a little bit and fit perfect over time. However, it is a different story with our Caimans and our alligators. These are actually not skins at all. These are exoskeletons. So they don't have the same elastic properties that a cowhide would have. So when sizing for a Caiman, we recommend either going up a half size, or if you have a little bit of room in your regular shoe size already, stay right there. But you're really looking for a perfect or slightly loose fit on the Caimans out of the box, because they will not stretch over time. Another special call out is Ostrich. Something really cool about ostrich leather is the hide actually stretches in all 4 directions, whereas a cowhide will only stretch in 2 directions. So what you get is a boot that molds perfectly to your foot over time. But not only is it a really comfortable leather, it's a really durable leather as well too. It actually has about 10 times the tensile strength of your regular cowhide. So it's a great performance leather, also a really comfortable leather as well. Lastly, we get a lot of people that ask us if they should change their boot size based on the toe shape. And the answer to that is no. The boots are designed so that they fit the same across all toe shapes. Once your boots arrive, or if you're at a retailer trying them on, here's how you can ensure they fit. The short answer is the magical pop. We all know it. Anyone who's worn boots before knows that sound when a boot goes on just perfectly. I fit hundreds of people in boots over the last few years, and I can tell 90% of the time whether it fits just by listening for that sound. The long answer is we need to test 3 parts of the boot. Number 1, the instep. Again, this is the most important part. Boots don't have shoelaces, so this needs to hold you very precisely. It needs to feel like a firm handshake, ensuring that your foot is held snug into the boot. When testing this area, you're going to pinch your fingers across the instep of the boot. If you can grab a significant amount of material or pinch any real material there, it is likely too loose and you need to go down a half size. If it's too tight, you'll feel a really firm pressure across the top of your foot. Number 2 is the toe box. And for the toe box, the rule of thumb is a thumb. So if you have a thumb's length from the end of the toe box to the end of your toe, that's considered good. If you have 2 fingers length, it's probably too big and you need to go down a half size. If you have a pinky's length or less, it is likely too small and you need to go up a half size. Number 3 is the heel, and this is where there's a little bit of confusion. Some people, when trying on boots, will walk around and they'll feel their heel lift up about a 1/4 inch to a half inch in the back of the boot, and they think that means the boots are too loose. However, that is good. You want about a 1/4 inch to a half inch of heel lift every time that you walk. That means that they fit you right. If you don't get that, they might be too tight, and walking around in them for too long could cause blisters. A few other things that can affect the fit are the thickness of your socks, your activity level, or even if your feet are swollen or sweaty. We recommend trying your boots on in the middle of the day to get the best fit. If the boots are close, but not perfect, there are a few adjustments you can make to make it fit just right. If the boots are too tight on either the instep or on the shaft of the boot, there's a few things you can do. For the instep, you can remove the insert. So every one of the boots comes with a removable orthotic insert. If you take that out, they're leather finished. They're designed to be worn without the insert if that's what you want. And that will give you the extra room for your instep. If you do want to leave the insert in, you can get yourself a boot stretcher. They're available online. Your local Western store will usually let you use them if you just kind of stop by and say hello. Or you can find something at your house. A lot of times people will use a baseball, put it right in on the instep, leave it overnight, and it will stretch out. For the shaft, it's the same thing. For this one, I do highly recommend going into your local Western store or getting one offline because it's a little bit harder of an area to stretch out on your own. However, I have heard people having a lot of success with putting wine bottles into the shaft of the boot to stretch it out as well. So those are the things I focus on when fitting y'all in a new pair of Hyer boots. If you have any additional questions, check out our blog, join our Facebook community, or just reach out directly. We got a ton of knowledgeable people that would love to help you out. So thanks for watching, and ride Hyer.